One of the other things you might do in the impact analysis phase is to match your data sets. One way to do this is by using the Xref Node. This allows you to find any mismatches in your data. The Xref Node joins two data sources to determine if data is found in one source versus the other, as well as any matching data. It is a special join node that performs 3 types of joins in one: left, inner, and right. Configuring this node is similar to configuring the join nodes. First, I'm going to sort so I don't cause an error. Then I enter the fields I want to match on. I start with the left or top input keys. Then I enter the right or bottom input keys. Now I name and run this node. With the Xref node, 3 output pins are created. The first, or left orphans pin, is data that appears in the left or first data source, but not in the right or second data source. The second, or matches pin, is data that appears in both data sources. The third, or right orphans pin, is data that appears in the right or second data source, but not in the left or first data source. Now, the Xref tool is a powerful tool to use as you're getting to know your data. But in the end, you may want to use a different join node to help optimize your graph. Perhaps all you need is the data in the left orphans and matches pin. Well, for this, a join left inner node would work just as well and not produce as many output pins. Every output pin you process uses memory space on your computer. So the more output pins you can eliminate, the better your graph will perform. This is one example of where you can eliminate output pins. Another could be using a filter node with a where statement in place of a split node. Let's do this process again. This time, I'm going to match the account payments data with the match data from my previous Xref. This way, I can see if there are any records that have contract charges to them, but no payments associated with them. I start by sorting the inputs so I don't cause an error. Then I enter my fields to match on, both for the left or top input and the right or bottom input. Then I name and run this node. I can see from the node that there are 24 contract charges that have no matching payments. Now that you know what the Xref node does, let me show you how it works. Here's your scenario. After preparing your data, you're left with 2 data sets, one with order transactions and the other with customer information. Now what you want to do is match these sets together to see if there are any transactions not associated with the customer, and any customers who have not made any transactions. So you want to ask yourself, what field should I use to match on? If you take a look at the images, you'll notice the common field of account ID. This would be the field you could join on. In some instances, though, you might find that the 2 fields aren't named the same, but the content of the fields are similar. For example, account ID and customer ID. Both are named differently in 2 separate files, but they mean the same in that they both identify the customer. That means your analysis would look like this. From here, you can work with only those matches or try to discover why there are orphans. Before I finish up the analysis of my graph and move on to publishing, I want to show you one more matching node you can use, and that's the fuzzy Xref node. The fuzzy Xref node combines the fuzzy join and Xref into one node. It not only provides the matching sets based on the fuzzy algorithm selected, but also the orphaned populations from each side of the match. When using the fuzzy Xref, you will use the exact tab and enter the fields to match on, and then use the fuzzy tab to match based on a fuzzy algorithm. This node produces 4 pins. The first, or left orphans pin, is data that appears in the left or first data source, but not in the right or second data source. The second, or unique match pin, is data that has a unique match to one another. The third, or multi-match pin, is data that has multiple matches to each other. The fourth, or right orphans pin, is data that appears in the right or second data source, but not in the left or first data source. And that's how you match your data sets.